One of my most anticipated games is by far Days Gone, and after doing a lot of research on the game for this video, it got me even more hyped for the April 26th release date that is fastly approaching. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, then you know that I was already able to play the game, but I cannot talk about that yet. So this video will be about all the things we already know right now to kick off my Days Gone coverage. So if you enjoyed that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. Good to note is that I will be doing a giveaway for the Days Gone Digital Deluxe Edition that will run till a few days before release, so you still have time to pre-order it in the PlayStation Store and get those goodies alongside the Digital Deluxe pack. So just follow the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment for a chance to win. Good luck. Where some zombie survival games take place a long time after the outbreak, Days Gone is set in the Pacific Northwest 2 years after everything went to shit, and you actually see that in the game's world map as well. Like in the Game Informer footage that was published in May 2018, we see 731 days gone, so that is 2 years and 1 day ago that the zombie outbreak happened. And okay, these creatures we are fighting are not zombies, according to the developers. They namely drink, hibernate during day in these nests that you then have to destroy by throwing a Molotov cocktail, for example, and then shooting the enemies that come out. And there are a lot of different types of these enemies as well. You got your regular freakers and a similar style of swarmer enemies that tend to stay in groups more often, so at least 2 or 3 of them at the same time. But you of course know that there are also these hordes of enemies as well. In the demo they showed at PAX South that IGN got the footage of, we see a horde of 300 enemies, and that is a relatively small one according to the developers, with way bigger ones in other parts of the game. Other enemies you can encounter are these child mutated creatures, the newts, that only attack when you are low health or when you infiltrate their space, and they will mostly be on rooftops. You got these screamers that you want to take out first because they will alert all the other freakers, swarmers and mutated things in the area to come to attack you. And we also saw the big boys, the breakers, in trailers already. And yes, while the other creatures I mentioned will go down with one headshot, these guys likely require a ton of bullets and other weapons to take out. But that is not all, we also saw animals like crazy bears and wolves that are in the game as well that will attack you, for example, when you drive away on your bike. And there should also be a ton of human enemies in the world that will set up traps that you have to look out for. A good example was in the E3 2017 gameplay, showing some of the melee combat as well, when you dropped off your bike from the trap and then had to hit all the guys that came to attack you. But yeah, also expect snipers in the trees that will shoot you down when they got the chance. The developers always described Days Gone as a game with a dangerous world where you always have to be on the lookout because you never know where the enemies will come from. But luckily we played Deacon, who got a big arsenal of weapons at his disposal to survive the woods and deserty area of the Pacific Northwest in the US. We already saw the SMP-9 in action that was used to take out the sniper in the trees, but yeah, we saw a shotgun there in action as well. And at one point in the 4Gamer footage we go to a gun locker at the sort of location it looks to be your base, and here we see a ton of other weapons we can use as well, like an advanced crossbow, a pistol, but also a sniper rifle. And we also got this pop-up notification before using the locker saying that the weapons you buy will end up in this locker, so you can always switch it up if you want. In the Game Informer coverage, again back in May 2018, it was noted that you can buy weapons at camps of humans trying to survive in the world. In this footage, Game Informer is, for example, helping Oakland repair some radio towers so he can send out his broadcast to more people. In return, he likes you more and lets you buy better components for your bike or better weapons, for example. And this is pretty cool because every camp in the game should have another specialty, so it might be the reason you want to focus on one camp over the other, because you want that awesome reward. You can also find weapons in the world from enemies, or melee weapons will just be laying around in the map. When picking these up, you will see how strong they are. For example, this tool lag from the Game Informer footage is rank 1, while later on in that same footage you see a spiked tool lag that is rank 2. So deals more damage. You can also craft better versions of these melee weapons with the recipes that you find in the world. So finding resources to in the end create these melee weapons is really important, but also because these weapons can break after you use them a lot. You can always repair them though with the scrap you find in the world, but you can also use the scrap to repair your bike. And yes, that is another key component of Days Gone, your way to traverse this open world. You can run out of gas, so you have to keep track of that, and also the durability of your bike is important. Like in the Game Informer footage, they ride up to a freaker and bam, you immediately see that the bike took a hit as well. That's also why it's smart to not park your bike too close to an enemy camp or a nest of the freakers, because it cannot take a ton of damage. You can upgrade your bike though with better engines and boost, so you can quickly get away, or you can upgrade it so that you can carry ammo like in the saddlebag of your bike, so you can always go back to your bike to get new rounds. Your bike is also your respawn point, so when you die, you will be next to your motorcycle again. If you want to move faster between the different parts of the worlds though, then fast travel is of course the option. It's also in Days Gone, but with a slight twist. You can, for example, fast travel to the NERO checkpoints after you completed them. And NERO is kind of a government organization that used these points to diagnose infected people who could still be safe. But now these locations are all abandoned. So that means that you could still like find some medical supplies here. But overall, these locations should be small puzzles that you have to complete to find your way inside. Like in the Game Informer gameplay, they had to find a way to turn on the power so they could enter the building. But after doing so, the freakers like in the area were alerted because the speakers turned on as well. So shooting these speakers first would have been smarter, so the enemies would not have been alerted. When you go inside, you of course want to loot everything, but also find the NERO injector that gives either health or stamina that is used to like roll or run in the game, or focus that lets you do the special slow motion attack for longer. So these locations are not only smart for a fast travel spot and the medical supplies, but they also let you permanently increase one of your free bars. So in the Game Informer footage, they completed this location. There are 1 of 12 checkpoints. I'm not sure if that will be in the full game as well. You get 2000 XP, and that is enough for the next level, and then you immediately see after that you unlock a new skill point. So yes, with the XP that you get for killing enemies, completing missions, and these locations as well, you sort of level up and then get a skill point that you can then use to unlock one of the skills. We haven't seen the skill menu yet, but that focus thing with the slowdown time is, for example, a skill you can unlock. You also have survival vision that highlights the things that you can interact with in the area, and Game Informer noted that you could also upgrade that skill so it would highlight like more crafting materials and even enemies in the area as well. So should be a pretty deep skill system with things you can unlock. Going back to the fast travel points, because like I already said, there is a twist. You namely have to clear an area first of nest before you can like fast travel between different points. So if there's a glowing red thing on the map, you have to go there, destroy these nests, and then you can fast travel between the locations. And there are other different locations on the map that you can clear as well, like camps of enemies, where you see the amount of enemies that you have to take out. And if you got every last one of them, then you completed the location and can look around for some nice loot. And of course, the hordes are a big sort of open world activity as well. You find these massive groups of enemies at the corpse dumping places where NERO wanted to mass bury all the corpses that died. Well, now it's a feeding ground for the swarmers and the freakers. And Game Informer notes in their horde video that this is really like some sort of end game activity where you need to go with the best weapons in the game. And we see some of these weapons in the footage as well, like a rank 5 M4 Super 9T weapon and the MK43 rank 5 as well that was used a ton, and they teased a Desert Eagle there as well. So yes, shooting the enemies with these weapons is important, but you mostly want to focus on the environment and the explosives. Because this was some sort of mass burial location, you find a lot of these explosives to shoot, and that takes out a ton of the enemies. And then you see like the XP coming in like rain, and you can by the way turn off these numbers if you don't want to see them, but I think it's actually pretty satisfying to see like the XP come in after you killed a big horde. Also, Also, throwing explosives will help a lot, and you see your progress thanks to a sort of health bar of the full horde. So yes, there seem to be a ton of different things you can do in the open world, and we saw some variation like in the world itself as well in a recent trailer that Sony put up. Also, a weather system is present, and it actually impacts the gameplay as well, like rain will make the trails muddy of course, and it should also make the freakers stronger as well, just like the snow that you will find on some of the mountains. But yeah, the open world is not like the only thing you will explore. The game should also be pretty story heavy, with some good looking cutscenes as we already saw of course in the trailers. It should explain more about what happened to Deacon's wife. The wedding trailer that Sony put up recently already gave me the feels, and during the first hour of gameplay that Game Informer put up, you really see that Deacon has a hard time forgetting her and maybe even blames himself for her death. Really curious to see like how this story unfolds, and if we learn like about the world as well, what happened. And the people that live in that world of course too. Days Gone has been in development for a really long time. The last game that Sony Benz, the developers, made was Uncharted Golden Abyss that launched in 2011 in Japan, and then a little later on the Vita of course in Europe and the US. They delayed Days Gone as well recently to really polish it off, so I expect a pretty polished product when it finally comes out on April 26th. We will find out soon enough. Again, I was able to play the game, cannot tell you anything about that yet, but I will be able to do that soon. So totally subscribe for everything Days Gone of course. I will cover the game from now on, and got a ton of awesome videos planned from that sort of event that I went to. Like the video to support channel. Again, I have a giveaway for the game. You can check it out by clicking the link in the description down below or following the pinned comment. And I'm curious to hear what you think of Days Gone of course as well. Are you excited? Let me know in the comments down below. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.